episode 395 will feature recaps of tonight's Impact Wrestling on Access TV and Ring of Honor on Honor Club. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey, Wrestling Fanatics. This is 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Welcome, everyone, to tonight's podcast. And like I said in that little preview, we'll be talking about tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling on Access TV and the newest episode of Ring of Honor Television on Honor Club. And let's get started with tonight's Impact Wrestling, which I could be wrong, but I want to say this could have been the last show to air from the tapings at the Rebel Entertainment Complex in Toronto. Commentators tonight, Tom Hannafan and Matt Raywalt. And we start things off with the knockouts. In action, Jordan Grace defeating Masha Slamovich. Good match between these two, I thought, to open up the show. And the finish sees back and forth near falls between the two, with the other getting roll-ups. But finally, Jordan Grace is able to get the 3 count to get the victory in this match over Slamovich. Like I said, very good match between these two. Big fan of both Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich. They are definitely keeping Jordan Grace looking strong. The juggernaut. Wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the near future she does get another shot at the Knockouts Championship against the current Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. And then after that Knockouts match, we see a special video package focusing on the returning Nick Aldis, his TNA/Impact Wrestling career is highlighted here and starts back from the beginning when he first came to TNA as Brutus Magnus, and then the British Invasion, and then when he was the TNA World Champion. Very good video package here. I recommend, if you did not see it, definitely worth checking out from this episode of Impact Wrestling tonight. And the Impact World Champion Steve Maclin calls out PCO, and PCO is jumped by Champagne Singh and Mahabali Shera. Even though they just mainly Shera now, they don't usually use the first name anymore, but they jump PCO. And then Santino Marella comes out. They attempt to pay him off. Santino keeps the money, but then he makes a match between PCO and Champagne Singh. PCO gets the victory, I should say, as he is the number 1 contender to face the Impact World Champion Steve Maclin at Under Siege May 26th. And we see the Design cut a promo backstage on Sami Callihan. Next up, Johnny Swinger is in action against El Generico. And Swinger gets the win here. But then, backstage, we see Santino bust him that it was Zicky Dice under the mask. So Santino declares that the victory is null and void. And the Design versus ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. And then we see in the back, Santino Marella is attacked once again. Bay and Austin pick up the win though in this one. And backstage, Dirty Dango is checking up on Santino Marella. And Jody Threat takes on Silesia Sparks. Pretty good match here from two Canadian wrestlers. And Jody Threat has been making a name for herself on the indies. I know fans here in Michigan. She has competed for Clash Wrestling in the last couple of years. Silesia Sparks hasn't been in the U.S. for a while, but quite a few years ago she did compete for Clash Wrestling in the past as well. I'm sure Michigan indie fans remember that. Jody Threat gets the win. Next up on Impact Wrestling, Gia Miller has a sit-down interview with Frankie Kazarian talking about his career in TNA Impact Wrestling. We will get a second part of the sit-down interview next week. And in the main event, the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship is on the line. The champion, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, defending against From the Coven, Taylor Wilde. Good match here between these two very good wrestlers. Deonna Purrazzo gets the win to retain. Then after the match, Kylie King, Wilde's partner in the Coven, comes out, attacks Deonna Purrazzo for a 2-on-1 beatdown, and then Jordan Grace runs down the ramp to make the save, and they have a bit of a stare down, and Jordan shows that she wants the Knockouts Championship as Impact goes off the air. Pretty good episode this week of Impact Wrestling, I thought. And next week, as I mentioned, we have part 2 of the Frankie Kazarian interview. Steve Macklin, Champagne Singh, and Shira taking on PCO and 2 mystery partners of his choosing, Moose, and the most professional wrestler Brian Myers take on Yui Uemura and Gujar. Alicia Edwards versus Jody Threat, and the major surprise will be revealed. So next week is a new set of tapings that will be taking place this weekend, actually starting tomorrow night, I believe, in Chicago. And I've already talked about the rumors and the speculations of what that major announcement is going to be. The Impact Wrestling debut of Trinity Fatu, formerly known as Naomi. But we will have to wait and see if the rumors and the speculation that's all over the wrestling sites is true. And now let's go over to Honor Club and talk about this week's episode of Ring of Honor Television. which was taped last week at the Dynamite in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Commentators back to the three-man team this week. Ian Riccaboni, Caprice Coleman, and Nigel McGuinness. Women's action is up first. The Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena defeats Lady Frost. I thought this was a good match here to kick off Ring of Honor this week. Big fan of Lady Frost back when she was in Impact Wrestling. She's been very impressive in Ring of Honor so far. And also have been impressed with the current ROH Women's Champion Athena as well. Tag team action up next on Ring of Honor. Roosh and Preston Vance defeat the Infantry. Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta get a win in some tag team action. Representing the Embassy, Brian Cage with Prince Nana in his corner defeat Leon Ruffin via submission. Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson defeat the Workhorsemen team of Jeeves K and Sonny Kiss. And during the match, the Righteous, Vincent, and Dutch make their way onto the stage and watch the match. And as the Dark Order exit after the match, they have a bit of a stare down as they make their way to the back. The current storyline now is that the Righteous looked like they have some interest in the Dark Order, especially Stu Grayson, when they returned a little bit back at Super Card of Honor. This could be a pretty interesting storyline, I think, here on Ring of Honor. Definitely have to stay tuned for that. Sky Blue is in action next. She gets a win over Diamante. Pretty good match here. I actually enjoyed this one. Hope to see Diamante more. Again, hopefully she'll be making more appearances on Ring of Honor. And I have been very impressed with Sky Blue as of late. Not just here on Ring of Honor, but AEW as well. Lee Moriarty gets a victory over Rocky Romero. Gringo Loco, takes on All Heart with Christian, with Christian picking up the win here. Good match, I thought, in the main event of Ring of Honor this week. And to close the show, actually, we get a special classic Ring of Honor match from 2005, which is for the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship. Samoa Joe taking on James Gibson, Jamie Noble. So, again, another very good episode of Ring of Honor. I definitely recommend checking it out. And as I always say, if you haven't tried Honor Club yet, even if just a month, I really don't think you will be disappointed with it. Just try it out. Not only do you get to watch the new Ring of Honor weekly show, plus the archives featuring some classic compilations and full pay-per-view events that go back to 2013, plus the newer Ring of Honor pay-per-views. I don't think this year's Super Card of Honor is available on there just yet. I want to say it might be either 30 or 60 day delay after the pay-per-view originally airs. It'll be available on Honor Club. I could be wrong, but I think it's either 30 or 60 days. So that was tonight's Thursday night wrestling lineup. Hope everyone had a great day today. And tomorrow night, the Friday night lineup is a little off. Well, actually, it starts in the afternoon, 5:30 p.m., coast to coast. On TNT is AEW Rampage, 5:30 special start time. And then 8 p.m., WWE Friday Night SmackDown at its regular time on Fox. So that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can either leave them here in the comment section on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcasts. Also, if anybody listening right now, if you have a company or a business and you want to sponsor and advertise right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic or Good Morning Wrestling Fans or any of the other podcasts, you can send an email to 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. Would love to advertise your product or your business right here. So that's all for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning for GMWF and hope to have more episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you soon. So stay tuned. Keep it locked in. I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.